So, good evening, everyone. My name is Nofal Tamimi, one of the team members at Dubai Startup Hub team. And with me today, my colleagues Natalia Sicheva, Manager of Entrepreneurship, Faisal Al-Shihi, Project Manager of Entrepreneurship and the moderator of the session, aside with Kim and Khawla. On behalf of Dubai Startup Hub and Dubai Chamber team and our partners from Virtuzone, I would like to welcome you all to the networking series event session dedicated to subject sustainability. So before we start, let's get to know each other by answering the quick poll which has popped in your screen. We will leave it for 30 seconds and we will share who we do have with us from the audience. In the meantime, I would like to remind you that you can ask your question during the session anytime, and we will be addressing the question in the Q&A part. So without any further ado, let's start our session. Switching to you, Faisal.
Thank you, Nof. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the week of networking series of sustainability, brought to you in partnership with Virtuzone. But first, let us have a look at the poll results that we had run just shortly. And it seems that we have a vast majority of entrepreneurs with us today joining us. So we hope that today's session will be really insightful and you will benefit from the insights that the speakers will share with us today. So before we start, let us have a look at our quick agenda for today's session. We will go directly into the, we will have a general overview about Dubai Startup Hub that we'll share shortly with you. Then we will move to the panel discussion on sustainability. And after that, we will hear from the enabler that's joining us today. After that, we'll have the Q&A session. And as my colleague Nof mentioned, please keep your questions coming in the Q&A box and we will address them to the relevant speakers accordingly. So let's move to the next slide and allow me to introduce Dubai Startup Hub. Dubai Startup Hub is the entrepreneurship arm of Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And our mission is to provide clarity and direction for entrepreneurs and founders throughout their journey, as well as support startups' growth within Dubai and globally. As Dubai Startup Hub, we work with entrepreneurs and founders from Dubai and worldwide, providing them with our services through a dedicated set of programs that we run on an annual basis. I would like to share with you today, before we start the session, 3 specific objectives of why we are conducting networking series this year. If we can move to the 3rd slide, please. So the first objective for us of conducting networking series this year is to share knowledge and experiences by those entrepreneurs and founders who are paving the way and shaping their relevant industries, and we will hear from them shortly. The second objective is to create networking opportunities and of course this year virtually for the attendees. And how we do that, you will receive after the session an email where we share with you to share with us your interest, if you would like us to introduce you and link you with the other peer attendees. And last but not least, with networking series, we want to equip you with sector guides specifically about each topic. And the sector guide of this week is going to be about sustainability, which you will receive after the session. And now, let us kickstart with our panel session today. So today we have 2 startups entrepreneurs joining us, and 2 of them have joined us this year in Smartpreneur competition, and both have been selected as top 10 of Smartpreneur competition. Let me start by introducing Rennie, CEO and marketing of Caddie Engineer, If you can open the camera, Rennie, and unmute yourself. Welcome.
Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to be here, as I wrote. Thank you for inviting me. And I would like to share all of our insights towards the region and towards our future development of the project here. We are still here currently in Abu Dhabi, but frequently going to Dubai as well. So yes, and I would like to share afterwards our experience with the program maybe, and anything that might be interesting for the newcomers. Thank you.
Thank you, Rennie. And next at the panel, we have with us Max, co-founder and chairman of PlasticFri. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, Faisal. Hello, everyone. My name is Max. I'm co-founder and chairman at PlasticFri. We are a company, a clean tech company based in Sweden, but we have been part of the startup of different initiatives and have got a lot of support, a lot of insight, which I will be happy to talk more about.
Thank you, Max. And since you actually started introducing and talking about your company, why not to continue? And if you can give our attendees a short introduction about yourself and about the startup company that you are working on, PlasticFri.
Absolutely. So the very brief version of it is that I think it normally doesn't include in our pitches, but it's very important for this discussion probably and the audience that you have here today. The company is founded by myself and my brother, but this goes back to many years ago. We have a family routine. Whenever we go to nature or travel or to the beach, we spend 5-10 minutes to collect rubbish and trash. And the most amount of rubbish that we collected and still collecting on a voluntary basis is plastic. So at a certain point in time, we realized we can't travel the whole world and collect rubbish. So there should be better alternatives, especially to single-use plastics, because that's what is causing the problems. Everybody has seen probably pictures and so on. So what we did, we decided to develop a more environmentally friendly alternative. So we started doing research, and then 2 years ago we succeeded to develop the technology in a way that it was even working outside the lab, so we could industrialize it. So in short, what we do, we have a breakthrough technology to transform the plant-based resources to an alternatives to plastics. And based on that, we have developed different products, such as paper cups that are plastic free, such as bags that looks and work like plastic, but it feels different, and it doesn't have any plastic in them. And for our work, we've got a number of recognitions. Earlier this year, our company was awarded as the world's most innovative sustainability startup among more than 1,400 companies worldwide. And then also today we work with a number of big brands worldwide, and we try really to put a focus on this plastic pollution question and try to drive a change in a positive way.
Thank you, Max. And I'm sure that definitely so many of our attendees have seen lots of pictures of the unfortunately camels and animals in Dubai as well, having lots of plastic and in their stomach that sometimes leads to their death. So thank you very much for having this really great business, but yet socially also responsible and benefiting our planet. Now back to you, Rennie. With the same, if you can briefly introduce yourself and talk more to us about your startup company.
The company, yes, okay. I am the CEO of Caddie Engineering. In fact, we have two companies that we operate with. We started the company just 2 years ago with my partner. We were the co-founders. When he came to me, he had a new air filtering technology that he invented in the last 12 years of his life. He was improving it very frequently. And our startup also has a very personal story behind. He, my partner and the inventor, in fact, when he was young, he went to a bioengineering laboratory to work there. But then he got allergic from a bacteria inside. And then he had to definitely quit this job, but he loved the job so much that he made a promise to himself that one day he's going to invent an air filter that captures all the mechanical particles, viruses, and bacteria, so that he installed this filter into the same laboratory because he was dreaming to go back in the same bioengineering laboratory. And here what I used to say is that the destiny had fulfilled 50% of his wish, and the 50% did not, because he really invented a filter. He really installed a filter in the same bioengineering laboratory afterwards, but that's the first 50% that happened. But he never go back to work there because we actually founded our own company. And first, the journey started with Airbus BizLab in Toulouse in France 2 years ago, where we went to work to develop the same new air filtering technology for the aviation, because the aviation has turbulence, inclination, and all kinds of specifics like vibrations. So each technology needs to be adjusted to the aviation. But then during our work there, he invented also other modifications of the filter to be able to product market fit different sub-segments. And he actually discovered that the technology is working for the maritime as well, capturing the black soot particles, which all of us, we see this black, dirty smoke that comes out of the ships, and it's very dangerous. And this is how we today have the technology from aviation, B2B industrial, and maritime. And we are, my dream, my personal dream is like to see one day the world without those dirty smokes and gases, and we have the clean air, and that's thanks to our technology. So this is my big dream one day to reach up to this point. And now we are working on aviation, maritime, both ports and ships, and B2B industrial. Afterwards, COVID, in fact, regretfully to say, COVID now is kind of helping us, because now everyone is helping us in terms of business matters, because now everyone wants to have a filter for his house, for his office. Everyone is just talking about household filters.
Actually, spot on, Rennie, like you kind of led into the next question that I was going to ask, and I want to use this opportunity to allow you to continue your thoughts on the next question, which is how have your startup been doing during COVID, which is a challenging time? Have it affected you positively or negatively? And you have been telling us how I think in some aspects it have been really positive for you. Please go ahead.
The market of air filtering technology, air filters as a product, is growing dramatically because of COVID. So now everyone is asking us about filters to produce, to manufacture, to distribute from every country almost in the world. And so this is the good news, that the market is growing. There's huge demand on those kind of products. And what was the bad news about us, that we were not prepared for such a fast growth. So like, for example, last week, we kind of rejected two offers for distribution companies because we were not able to supply. So we had to very quickly readjust our internal organization to meet the very growing demand. However, we developed already the first prototype of the household filter. Until COVID came, actually, I've never put my attention and my focus on household filters because I was thinking that I would never be able to compete with companies like big giants, like maybe Philips or Sharp or Bosch, etc. So I never put my attention on that sector. But now, because the demand is exponentially growing, we're going to test also this market niche.
Thank you, Rennie. Such positive, I think, development and news from your end with related to COVID and how what have happened have actually opened the eyes of many individuals and companies on the importance of air filtration and usage, which is creating great opportunities for your company. So back to you, Max, with the same question. How have COVID affected your business? Have it been positively affected as well or negatively? What are the challenges maybe that you have gone through?
In our case, it's been actually both. In certain aspects, it's been negative because we had like a lot of ongoing like commercial partnerships and transactions that were impacted by this in a negative way, that people stopped coming to work, so it became much longer processes. But on the other hand, as Rennie mentioned as well, so we also found, based just on the feedback from the market, for example, we just launched our plastic-free cups during COVID, and we thought this will be the biggest, for example, in a coffee shop chain and so on, because normal paper cups have a plastic inside them. Normal people probably don't know it, but it's a big issue and so on. But now it's a lot of hospitals, governments, organizations that want to use paper cups in their organization contact us, because porcelain or glass, even if you wash them in a disc machine, still they can contain the virus. You have to really disinfect the dishes very properly according to the World Health Organization guidelines, and nobody is doing it because nobody is knowing how to do that. So most of these organizations and in healthcare, in hospitals and so on, they are removing those multiple use, for example, glass and cups to paper cups. And that creates a lot of waste and a lot of new issues for them. So now they're looking for more environmentally friendly options. So this was a segment we never thought about, but now it's really impacting us in a positive way. And at the same time, on a company level, it impacted us more in a positive way, because we really needed to sit and think how to survive during this process. So we had to innovate even on the business model. We have to innovate on our company structure and how we drive it. So in that sense, also it's been positive, I would say.
Thank you, Max. And I think our team at Dubai Chamber can relate to that. Since COVID started, all the glass cups have been replaced with one-time use cups, and yeah, the demand for this type of product, I'm sure have increased. So which is great to hear, and for such startups who are creating environmentally friendly products is something really great to see. So now I will go to the last set of the question that I have prepared, and until now I don't see any questions from our attendees. So guys, please take your time to fill them in and share them with us as soon as you can, so that we can go through them and assign them to the speakers during the Q&A part. So back to you, Rennie, with my specific question, and to Caddie Engineer. You have touched upon this subject earlier by mentioning the spike in demand for your products, but I'm sure early on in your journey, it wasn't easy to convince customers to buy your product. especially in B2B, it's always difficult maybe to convince the organizations to get a new product that's not in the market, or to replace some existing products they used to have in the past. Can you share with us some more tips or of what you have been doing to tackle this issue in your company?
Thank you, Faisal. Yes, you're absolutely right. And what's very commonly known that if you introduce on the market innovation, in 99% of the cases, you have a resistance, or you have you have to give a reason to believe you, or a very, very good pitch, or it's difficult journey. I agree. In our case, because we have a hardware product, it was difficult. But the first, what we thought is that it's always better to have a proof, not even having a report or a protocol from the testing laboratory, but maybe it's better for the particle matters just to bring a prototype on site where the customer is and demonstrate to the customer how the filter works using his own pollutant. We've had a case I could remember a few months ago with a factory that manufactures metal products. And they have a lot of these metal small particles. Then we brought a prototype and we asked them to bring their garbage, like not garbage, but what they have to clean. So they brought it, and then we made this demonstration, and then we disassembled the filter so that they can be sure that the effect that they just saw is reached by a very simply made filter without grid systems and without any complex materials, because this is one of our unique selling proposition. So they actually saw what we were talking, they saw it in reality. So in most of the cases, to make the long story short, we were able to convince them by just showing them and demonstrating them. The big issue for us before, or in the early ages of COVID, let's say, was how to demonstrate that the filter is capturing viruses and bacteria, because actually no one sees viruses and bacteria. So how can we prove that? But then this task became very easy for us, because there has been multiple disinfectants launched on the market. And for example, if you trust a disinfectant, which is called, I don't know, maybe Domestos, then you trust this disinfectant. And if you just put a small portion of the disinfectant inside of the filter of the water, because the whole air passes through the water, then you have the proof that all the viruses and bacteria are already killed inside of the filter, and none of it goes out. And this is what you do with your favorite disinfectant. So from a very hard task, it became not that hard task. Yeah.
Thank you. So basically,
we're also using creative ways of convincing customers and presenting ourselves.
Yeah, and it's an ongoing process. Every time something new comes, and then you need to adapt and adjust, but mainly focusing on your USP of your product or solution, and actually going with the demonstration for the client to see it. Or in the technology startups with solutions, we can say do the proof of concept project so that the client can actually see the result.
Yes.
Thank you, Rennie.
Thank you.
So, Max, back to you now with my question. It has been like all the time we hear lots of companies and startups, specifically in the sustainability field, or when they try to come up with alternative products, for what people are using that are more environmentally friendly. Usually the pricing and cost is a big question mark, as people don't want to pay higher for a more environmentally alternative. Is this the case with you? Is your product more expensive than the plastic alternative? And if yes, what have you done to overcome it?
Absolutely, thank you. I think this is a very good and important question, and it's a challenge that every startup in this sector will face in different stage of their development. So in our case, like at this point in time, our price is around 20 to 30% more expensive than the competitors. And I mean, the reason is simply because it's our raw material that we use is more expensive, and also we are not still in the large scale as, for example, a normal plastic product that it is. I mean, it's just a linear equation. So when it's higher volume, then we can even become cheaper. But in the very beginning, when we even had a much higher price, then what we have tried to do, and this is a recommendation, maybe it will help somebody else in the call as well, other entrepreneurs. We tried really, we started mapping the potential customers, and then try to categorize them based on what we call early adopters, the one that already have a kind of sustainability image or interest, or want to do green branding, or they have at least a little bit of interest than somebody that is only focusing on the price. So we mapped them, and even within those organizations, we, instead of directly contacting the purchasing manager, which is again the person that is already very price sensitive, we started contacting the sustainability manager or the CSR people within that organization, or the marketing people in that organization, that see the bigger picture and the value of what we offer in our products. For example, you can brand them with your own brand, so you can get a lot of other possibilities. So and then when we present it to these people, then we define something that we call sustainability return on investment, which is not only financial return on investment, we also added the other benefits or values that our products can add to them. So in terms of the cups, for example, in the European market, you can actually sell your recyclables. You can't sell the normal cups that they have today. So we even showed them in numbers, you can actually earn money on your waste today if you replace. And then you can, many companies have these sustainability reports, especially the public companies that are on stock exchange. So it's this cup, for example, is not their core business, but if they just switch to this and then they will send out a press release, then their share price will go up. So it's really nothing, no brainer for them. So the way we packaged this and started to really communicate was really to categorize the value, including economical value, operational value, and financial and environmental value. So we showed them all these different values. Then of course you will get another response, because then you help the customer or the partner to see the bigger picture and see why they should even listen to you when you are there and try to pitch this product or this solution. And then everything is connected to each other, because then the more people know about us and start using our products, then we can have higher volumes, and our price will go down. So it's just like a snowball effect. In midterm and long term, we will be even cheaper, because in Europe at least, it's also connected to political landscape. So there are a lot of these products are going to be banned. For example, like the plastic bags or the plastic lid, that we are also developing a paper version of this based on our technology. So we will offer completely plastic-free assortment. And then even I think in UAE, what we heard recently as well, there is a similar political initiative that they want to ban at least a number of single-use plastics. So I think as an entrepreneur, you have to really do a lot of homework from all these different aspects. It's not enough to develop your technology, or it's not enough to only focus on one aspect, but then you have also to be very open and listen to the market feedback to be able to minimize the risks.
Thank you, Max. I believe you. Thank you for sharing so many of those practical, I think, tips that the attendees can use and incorporate, and such great news for anyone who is trying to start in this journey, knowing that if you are still 20 or 30% more expensive than the alternative, still there are some clients who will choose you to and choose your product, but keeping in mind long-term price competitiveness with scale. So with this, I would like to thank both of you, our startup speakers. Stay with us for the Q&A, but now we have our ecosystem partner with us today. I would like to introduce Tala Al Ansari, Director of District 2020's Innovation Ecosystem, to share with us and talk to us more about how Expo today is supporting sustainability startups and shed lights on District 2020 and what they are doing. Tala, the mic is yours.
Thanks, Faisal. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks, Faisal. So, I'm really happy to be with you all here today. And I just want to start first by congratulating Max and Rennie for getting this far. It's so exciting to always hear about the amazing solutions that entrepreneurs come up with to address global challenges, especially in the field of sustainability. In terms of Expo 2020, sustainability is very important to us. It's actually one of the three main sub-themes that the Expo is going to focus on for 6 months. So the countries that are joining us as Expo hosting the world, we're going to focus on sustainability challenges, sustainability solutions, and really having that conversation in place. To us at Expo, sustainability really is about respecting the environment and living in balance with the world that we inhabit to ensure a sustainable future for everybody. We're striving in Dubai to host one of the most sustainable World Expos in history. We want to help the UAE champion its sustainable development efforts and work towards its Vision 2021 and its contribution to the UN's 2030 agenda on a global level as well. So when visitors and the general public come to the Expo, one of the things we help them do is not only experience sustainability through the sustainability pavilion that we've designed, but also get them to reaffirm their commitment to the environment and what they do towards that. We're going to be a catalyst for a healthy exchange of ideas around what a sustainable city would look like. Because as some of you might know, once the World Expo is over, we're going to repurpose 80% of the assets and buildings at the site to reconvert that entire area into an innovation ecosystem in Dubai called District 2020. And that's going to really be a blueprint for what the future of sustainable, smart, human-centered cities should look like. And that's something that we're very excited to be working on. Just some examples of how Expo is practicing sustainability to achieve new, I would say, to come to new achievements globally. We're actually going to be having the world's largest vertical farm, and 50 million meals are going to be supplied during the Expo. We've also got the world's longest automated transport system that connects to the metro to bring the visitors. Many of the buildings at the Expo are LEED Gold and Platinum certified, which basically means it's the highest standard of sustainability. But what I really want to focus on in my talk today is one of the main ways we feel we will achieve new benchmarks for sustainability is by working with and supporting startups. Startups really are, they're innovators. They have the key to all the solutions that we would need to really achieve new sustainability solutions for this planet. So we're committed to startups ever since we started the World Expo. We've come out publicly with a pledge saying that 20% of the entire spend of the World Expo, that's direct and indirect, will be going to SMEs. So far, we have 46,000 companies that have registered to take part in different tenders and bids at the Expo from 180 countries. And more than half of those are SMEs. And 55% of all the projects that we've tendered and contracts that have been awarded have already gone to SMEs at Expo. Which really reflects our loud commitment to supporting SMEs and our belief in the impact that they have. We actually have some products that you might have seen on the news as well, which relates to licensing. So Expo products, and they're sustainable, some of them made in the UAE and some internationally. So we have a camel bar soap that's available. We have energy bars that are made in solar powered facilities from a company called the Date Bar Company. We've got clothes made from recycled fibers that we're also sourcing through different SMEs as well. Aside from these products, we do have a few programs that I'd like to shed the light on as well. The first one is our Expo Live program. So Expo Live is a grant program, which basically supports startups and startups that come up with solutions who really address global sustainability challenges. We had awarded one of the grants to an Indian-based company that came up with an IT solution who basically manages waste from start to finish. Another program that we have is our Global Best Practice Program. And this program is going to showcase 25 tangible solutions which have already achieved great success in their countries. We're going to showcase them at the Expo so that we can then replicate them and scale them in other countries around the world. So we're really building knowledge and learning in terms of sustainability. The third opportunity that I think all the startups in today's session would be interested in is our online marketplace. The online marketplace is a great opportunity for startups, SMEs, and even large companies to register at the Expo. You build a profile and it's a free-to-use tool, which allows you to tender for Expo projects that are transparently posted there. And projects that are not only run by us as the Expo, but run by the countries who need solutions and services for their pavilions as well. So you can imagine the opportunities there are immense. I highly encourage all the startups on this call to sign up in the online marketplace and create a profile. The last program is one that's a little close to my heart because I was directly involved in designing that program, and it relates to District 2020. It's our global entrepreneur program called Scale to Dubai. So this is a program that helps startups and small businesses who've already achieved success in their hometowns to now scale and expand and open up a second branch in Dubai at District 2020. They will be part of our human-centered smart city at District. And we noticed that many programs out there globally mainly focus on helping innovators start. But we wanted to help them scale because we notice a gap globally in that part of the entrepreneurial cycle. And we have a big emphasis on helping sustainability startups in the Scale to Dubai program because the industries that we focus on are smart cities and smart mobility and smart logistics, which all have to do with doing things in a sustainable fashion. In terms of Scale to Dubai, startups will really be given an opportunity once they apply to the program to get 2 years of free working space at District, 2 years of visa, business setup, but most importantly, to be part of an ecosystem where they have direct access to deal flow from corporates and government, direct access to funding from the VCs that we have, and to also be part of a community of around 250 SMEs within a cohort who can really share knowledge, work together, and also have fun. Happy to now, I think, leave the floor open to answer any questions that our viewers here with us have. But just to remind everybody, if you're interested in Scale to Dubai, we are open to take your expressions of interest on our website. So just go to www.district2020.ae and register your interest.
Thank you, Tala. Thank you very much for all those information that you have shared with us today. And now I was going through the questions, and we have really very nice and interesting questions that our attendees have shared, and it shows how our attendees today are really engaged in the discussion. So we have a couple of questions by Hor, who have asked them mainly focusing on talent and how actually bringing the aspect of building the team. So if we can unmute and have her to address the questions. You can unmute yourself. Yes.
I can quickly say, in my case, as I mentioned also in the beginning, this has started really in our family, and I co-founded the company together with my brother. So it wasn't as challenging as many other entrepreneurs in that sense. But then later on, of course, it's been really important to bring other people, other talents that could join our team with the same vision. And that's very important, to be very transparent and honest about your vision of a company and where you want to lead. And we have really tried to be open, but at the same time, create a great dynamic to have a diverse team, both men and women from technical backgrounds and other backgrounds, commercial backgrounds now as well. And really, in that sense, we've been very lucky to have amazing and remarkable people in our team. Today, we are 12 people working at PlasticFri.
Oh, thank you, Max. Rennie, if you want to shed some lights on that as well.
Yes, thank you for the question again. We are also a family business. When I say family, I mean we are two families gathered together, but because we get along so well, now we are one family. So we've started first, myself and my partner, but then coincidentally, his two sons are technical, IT and machine-to-machine learning experts. So to keep the IP inside of the family, we worked with the two sons of Todor first to create the IP, the technical drawings, CAD, and so on. But then when we needed to scale and sell, my two kids are the salesmen. They are inborn with the desire to sell, coincidentally. So we then thought that not only we want to protect the technical assets of the company, like patents and know-how and the technical drawings, but we want to also protect the customer database, the leads, and the business know-how. So we involved my two kids, and now we are actively working 6 people, and it's 2 families in one, and now we are feeling as one family. So that's the way how we did it, and we're happy with this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rennie. A very specific experience, and our entrepreneurs today, they both have grown family businesses, and also it's sometimes something to look at, and maybe if you have somebody in the family that you really get along with, maybe it's a good partner and co-founder to start your business with. But to you also, Tala, I believe in your experience, you had gone through building teams and gone through the phase of how to retain also those talents within your team. So can you share your perspective on that?
In what essence do you mean, though?
So basically, like when at your workplace, creating the team under you and looking for those talents, and maybe in some cases in your past experiences, you had the opportunity to see how to retain those talents within your department, maybe, or you know, people nowadays like to maybe change jobs more frequently than past. So if you can shed light on these.
Sure. I think even when whether we look at a corporate or we look at startups, it's really people behind those businesses. So it's very important to keep the people happy first. When we even look at evaluating startups and we're putting together the criteria for a Scale to Dubai program, the team behind the business and their qualifications and vision and attitude is something that we really focus on very highly as well. In terms of my experience, I think at the end of the day, it's really all about giving people the opportunity to grow, to learn on a daily basis, and you know, to just really be happy in the work depending on what their priorities are. So as long as the leader understands what's important to that employee and what their priorities are, they can help match that and keep them retained.
Thank you, Tala. And I think definitely nowadays, even with the COVID, we have seen more importance of connecting with your team and really understanding their maybe personal issues that are happening at home, affecting them as we have moved work to home. So let's move to the next set of questions. And if we had time, we will get back to your questions, Har. So we have a question from an anonymous attendee. So his question is, I think, more directed to you, Tala. How can our attendees get access to the online marketplace?
Sure. I will share the link and type the answer out here and also send it to you after the webinar to the attendees. It is on the Expo 2020 website, but I'll be posting it right here as well.
Perfect. That would be great, Tala.
Sure. Right.
So now let us move to the other question that have been shared by our attendees. And it's again a question by Max and Rennie. If you had the chance to go back to the early days when you started your businesses, is there something you would want to change today, or you would go the same journey?
Okay, I'll start first. That's a very interesting question. To me, this question is absolutely very philosophical, because if I would have changed something in the past, then I don't know how would that affect all the other steps. And because I'm today very happy on where I am and what I do, my answer would be no, I would not change anything, because I'm afraid of if I would have changed anything, I would not be today here in UAE talking to you, you know, so it might be the case that I would have been somewhere else. So I would not change anything.
Thank you, Rennie. What about you, Max?
Yeah, I have the same perspective as Rennie. The only thing is that if I would maybe revise or refine a part of the process is this famous quote around the product or service that you probably are building, is that if you are not embarrassed by the product, by your first version of the product, you probably have launched it too late. So I think many entrepreneurs really try to perfect every single aspect of the product or the business without going out and talking with the users to understand their actual problem. And this happens basically to everybody. It's just how late or how early do you go out. So I would probably still maybe refine or do some of the processes they're more efficient. But otherwise, again, it's a hard journey, and the results are in a way that you get inspired that you have the power to really being part of changing the world. And for that reason, of course, I wouldn't change the total decision of doing this. It's just small details probably.
Thank you, Max. And yeah, like sometimes as we grow and as we go through the different experiences, there are certain learnings that we get along the way that sometimes, okay, maybe we wouldn't change it as Rennie said, not to change the full picture, but then maybe if you start again another business in the future, you might have done it maybe differently and adopt these learnings. Thank you, Max. So before we end, let's take this last question by Aqil. I think this question is directed to you, Tala. How do you engage with startups in the do you engage with startups in ideation stage as well? I believe it's for the Scale Up to Dubai program. And what is the I believe you have shed light on many support aspects, but maybe there are some more that you can shed light.
Sure. The UAE has quite a few programs that focus on the ideation stage, and that's why we intentionally focused on the scale-up stage, because we noticed there's a gap globally on helping startups scale. So we don't really focus on the ideation stage, but a few of our partners do. And I want to just mention that if you're based in the UAE, you should look into Dubai SME and how they support ideation and rolling out your idea and turning it into a business. If you're reaching us internationally, then you could reach out to our partners, the Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund. They have a grant and an accelerator program which helps people with ideas turn it into a business.
Thank you, Tala. And
Sure.
Just to add also on that, not to forget Dubai Startup Hub, of course, we have recently, during GITEX, we have launched the Knowledge Hub at our website on dubaiChamber.com/Dubai Startup Hub. And in the Knowledge Hub, we have provided many different types of relevant material that will benefit you throughout your journey. Specifically, when you start, for example, we have the set of panorama reports that we produce on quarterly basis that you can view all of them over there. Some of them talk about funding, some of them talk about the ecosystem, who is who in the ecosystem, and also all the sector guides that we are producing for the networking series. If you want to have a look at the previous guides that we have had in the past, you can view them there as well. So
Faisal, I just want to take a moment to tell everybody that the documents produced by Dubai Chamber are phenomenal. They map out the UAE ecosystem very nicely. So I really do recommend you have a look at those. You can understand our market immediately. And I'd like to thank Dubai Chamber for preparing those. They're absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you, Tala. Guys, our attendees, rest assured that we haven't tipped this to Tala, so she has said it absolutely.
Purely from my heart.
Thank you. So I believe we reached the end of the session, but before we close, I would like to thank the panelists for joining us, and now I will hand over the mic to my colleague Noof to close the session today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
The mic is yours now.
Thank you, Faisal. On behalf of Dubai Startup Hub, I would like to thank our speakers, Renee and Tala and Max, for being here with us today. And thank you for the audience for attending the session. Please be aware that we'll be sharing the guide, which Faisal has mentioned earlier, early next week, aside with a short survey where you can mention with who you want us to connect you with from the panelists. So have a great day, everyone, and hope to see you all in our last session in this season, which will be focused on travel and tourism and hospitality next week. So good night and bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.